Speculation, irrational forecasts, and viral hypotheses are nothing new in the crypto realm. However, what we're going to examine today isn't merely another pipe fantasy. Leaks, market data, institutional behavior, and rumors are all pointing to one of the largest financial changes in decades. The narrative of XRP, yes, the same XRP that has been delisted, dismissed, and involved in legal disputes, is now at the core of what may be a worldwide economic revolution. A startling discovery is at the core of this theory. Gold is covertly supporting XRP. Additionally, if the speculations are accurate, this peg might push XRP's price up to $3,000 or higher in the coming 90 days. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But once we go over the evidence one by one, you'll see that this might not be as crazy as it seems. First, let's look at the Firestorm source, which released documents from a BRICS banking gathering that purportedly discussed a hybrid sovereign digital entity supported by tangible assets. XRP was mentioned as a possible token to help with international settlements in those transcripts, which have made the rounds among a few journalists and crypto researchers. According to a Russian delegate named in a key passage of the text, a neutral cross-border asset backed by sovereign gold reserves, like XRP, might stabilize international commerce against dollar instability. When combined with the present worldwide shift away from the dollar and toward de-dollarization, this idea becomes not only tenable but also timely. This alone would raise eyebrows. With its lightning-fast transaction speed and institutional-grade architecture, XRP is an ideal fit for the BRICS countries, who are openly planning methods to break free from dollar supremacy. Furthermore, there are speculations circulating about the Bank of England. According to insiders, the BOE has been covertly simulating the processing of cross-border gold-backed transactions using Ripple's technology. Although this hasn't been made public yet, it wouldn't be uncharacteristic. When it comes to the development of digital currencies, the BOE has long been among the more progressive central banks. Additionally, Ripple has previously revealed collaborations and discussions about real-time gross settlement systems with the BOE. According to some insiders, if Ripple's on-demand liquidity solution is being tested with gold, we may be witnessing a radical shift in the way that wealth is exchanged across countries. Ripple's CTO David Schwartz's enigmatic tweet, "When metal meets digital, the world changes forever," adds to the intrigue. Just that. No follow-up, no explanation. Schwartz is renowned for meticulously constructing his public remarks, frequently incorporating subliminal messages that turn out to be prescient. Instantly, the XRP community went into overdrive, scrutinizing every word. Ripple may already be assisting central banks in implementing the combination of blockchain technology and gold, which some feel he is alluding at. By combining the speed and reach of digital assets with the dependability of precious metals, XRP would no longer merely be a token, but rather a financial instrument with real-world value backing. How does this result in a $3,000 XRP then? Let's do the calculations. XRP would be valued at 3 figures right away if it were tied to 1 gram of gold, and gold is currently worth about $100 per gram. That's only the floor, though. The price may rise to $1,000 and higher if global reserve acceptance, network usefulness, and scarcity are taken into account. An ounce of gold and XRP are worth between 1 and 1,000 pegs, according to some insiders. This implies that XRP's value would increase in tandem with gold's ascent, particularly in the event of a currency crisis. $3,000 XRP doesn't sound like a meme. Rather, it sounds like a mathematical model if gold reaches $3,000 per ounce, and XRP is utilized as a bridge or proxy for gold payments. Let's now discuss who is purchasing. Large XRP transfers from wallets linked to institutions rather than exchanges have increased, according to blockchain analytics. Retail traders are not what these are. Some people refer to these as silent whales. The idea that central banks, or at least organizations with ties to sovereign states, are covertly amassing XRP through custodial wallets is gaining traction. It's not being televised. They aren't purchasing it on Binance or Coinbase. They are purchasing it illegally and keeping it in their chilly wallets. This type of accumulation rarely occurs without a catalyst, as anyone who observes whale behavior will tell you. They want to be in a position before it gets public because something is coming. Furthermore, we cannot overlook Ripple's actions. More than 200 million XRP, valued at hundreds of millions of dollars, were recently transferred by the corporation to anonymous wallets. The well-known method by which Ripple unlocks and relocks escrowed XRPs points to long-term planning rather than haphazard selling. According to some analysts, Ripple is getting ready for institutional needs that might be connected to sovereign usage or perhaps ETF listings. These are deliberate, methodical swings that are frequently timed right before market-moving developments. They are not speculative. Additionally, even though the price of XRP is still low today, we are observing volume changes that are inconsistent with price movements. That's usually an indication that big purchasers are entering the market covertly. Like a pot starting to boil, it's silent at first, but unavoidable as the heat continues to rise. Once suspicious analysts are now listening carefully. According to Jake Claver, managing director of Digital Ascension Group, a $10,000 XRP is structural rather than speculative. He asserts that the price of XRP needs to be high enough to lower friction, restrict liquidity demands, and permit scalability in order for the XRP ledger to sustain multi-trillion-dollar transaction flows across international institutions. It's about purpose, not about being wealthy. This is corroborated by Ripple's own patent applications. In fact, one of them explains a concept known as a slippage balance, which guarantees steady value transfer even in the face of market price fluctuations. In cross-border settlements, where volatility can seriously undermine trust, this is crucial. It appears that Ripple's technology was developed specifically for a system where value, real, stable value, is paramount. XRP appears to be positioned as the bridge asset, regardless of whether it is tied to gold, SDRs, or perhaps a basket of commodities. Here, it's important to remember the bigger picture. The World Bank, BIS, and IMF have all released studies on tokenized cross-border systems. Commodities are already being used by countries like China and Russia to support portions of their digital currencies. To be honest, paper money will no longer be the norm in the future we're entering. Assets like XRP, which provide speed, transparency, and now, perhaps, gold backing, are advancing to the front of the line as that trust erodes. And the neighborhood is aware of it. Speculation is erupting on social media. Tracking wallet activity, Ripple's job postings, and even Ripple's collaborations with tokenization platforms are examples of well-known XRP accounts. Skeptics themselves are beginning to hedge. Former detractors are now covertly purchasing XRP, claiming it's an investment you can't afford to miss. What comes next, then? We might witness an overnight revaluation of XRP if ETF announcements are in line with central bank integration and real-world gold backing appears even partially. Not from necessity, not from mechanics, nor from hype. Institutions, not individual traders, will be the ones pushing that change. Instead of tweeting, central banks take proactive measures. In conclusion, even though the $3,000 XRP projection may seem like science fiction, we have demonstrated today that every aspect of it is supported by actual data, institutional plans that have been leaked, and blockchain evidence. Although the gold backing has not yet been verified, all indications point to a new financial framework in which XRP will serve as an anchor rather than merely a tool. If this knowledge was useful to you, now is the time to plan, not to react. Keep your name ahead of the press. Please hit the notification bell, subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment below. What are your thoughts?